Earlier today, Tex beat the hell out of Waylon. And then a little bit after that, he ended up beating the hell out of my fences and my gates. And before you go off and say something like, Lester, you should get electric fencing. You should do electric fencing. Guys, no offense, but cow horns are insulators. So a Longhorn can detangle an electric fence and never get zapped. And instead, all of that wire becomes a real threat to getting wrapped up around their, their horns and their neck and whatnot. So we have ourselves a dilemma here, absolutely a dilemma. And I will figure it out. But just enjoy the video, but just know that electric fencing is not an option for Longhorn. Folks, Lester here, and I just want you to know that for all those who've been asking out of the big bullfight we had when I moved Waylon and Tex into the same pasture, a lot of people have been asking me who won the day. Who won the day, Lester? I've seen the question pop up over and over and over. And I want you to know that this time around, it was in fact Tex. But I think instead of thinking to yourselves that Waylon was the big loser in the day, or of the day, I think that by the looks of things, you're going to find out that when all is said and done, Lester may in fact be the loser, because Tex, even though he has sent Waylon packing, that's an expression that we sometimes use. Tex has sent Waylon packing. Tex is also not happy about being away from his ladies. Guys, he's not happy about being separated from his lady friends. And he's going by here and he's just wreaking havoc. Look at this. He's just wreaking havoc on all of my fencing down along this entire front fence here. He's going by and just taking his horns, and the weight, his 2,000 pounds of force, and he's just bending and twisting these panels like nothing I've ever seen. Guys, this is like nothing I've ever seen. Look at this. He's just going along through here, and he's walking and he's trying to find himself a weak spot. That's what he's doing. He's trying to find a weak spot. Now, as of right now, he's not found one he can get through. But I will tell you what I'm going to have to do. At this point, I'm going to have to go ahead, and once he calms down a little bit, I'll have to come back by and replace every single panel, because for the most part, they're all been out of shape. He didn't come down as far as this, so I think that we're good down to here. And he's not touched any of the fences along the entire perimeter. It's only this one stretch of fencing through here that he's walked along. And I'm just baffled that even after an hour-long ordeal of bullfighting with Waylon, he finally sent Waylon packing. Waylon is down there underneath the other tree, out in the he's in the shade, out of the sun. But he sent Waylon packing. I feel bad for Waylon because Waylon's been kind of the man for a while, and we've kind of played God, you might say. If you guys can remember this, and I don't know how many were around. I know we have some newer members, so thank y'all for becoming a part of our channel. But a couple of months back, we had all of the bulls together. We had all of our cows together. And it wasn't a problem because we thought all of our females had already been bred. And if your cows have been bred, there's not really a reason for your bulls to fight, generally speaking. But it ended up to where one of our cows who we thought was bred came back into heat, Maryland. And it started a rift between Tex, Chucky Poo, and Waylon. Now, even though Chucky Poo had just been recently castrated, it had not really taken effect yet, and he still thought himself to be, well, you know, he still thought himself capable. And so he was up in that mix as well. And so it ended up to where Tex had to fight not only Waylon, but also Chuck. Ended up to where Waylon got the better of Tex. And it was one of the saddest things that we've all watched. It was one of the saddest moments that we've seen Tex actually run off from his herd. He did. Tex had to submit to Waylon, and we all talked about the fact that Waylon is the up and coming, herd bull. If they were out in nature, then Waylon would have taken the place as the herd bull. But what did we do? We all decided to play God. Yeah, that's what we did. We all said, you know what, we're just going to play God. And what we did was we went ahead and moved Waylon off of the pasture. And we let Tex reclaim his spot. But the problem now is it's getting close to all of our females to start having their calves. And they'll start coming back into heat again. And instead of waiting, we tried to find an opportunity. Give me a moment to do this, please. All right, so what I wanted to do was come by and put this in front of the gate to where now Tex cannot keep coming by here pushing on the gate. Everyone knows that the gate is, in fact, the weakest point of any fence project. Your gate is always the weakest point. The reason I say that is because your gate, on one side, this is all you have. The strength of these two hinges is all you have on one side. This aluminum can be bent and broke very easily, especially from the weight of a guy as strong as him. And then, of course, the other side is just as when you only have a chain and a couple of screws. So sometimes we've been known to park equipment in front of our gates to keep them from pushing around on them, just kind of helping kind of deter and keep them back a little bit. I will come back out later. I have a doctor's appointment today, but I'll come back out maybe this afternoon, and I'll move that feed buggy back where it belongs, and I'll reset up my round pen around it, and then I'll reapply some permethrin to our cattle sock, which will help, prevent our flies and stuff. They won't be near as bad. I'm also going to come out and do the double water trough thing over here. I'm going to put water right there underneath their barn, and what I'm noticing is that Tex is being quite the bully, and he's mad, and he's not letting the other bulls drink. So I know at some point these little guys will need a drink of water, and they're hanging out close, and whenever Tex walks away, they'll run by and grab a drink. But that is the only water supply we have in here. It's a nice big water supply, but it is our only water supply. So I will come back a little bit later and fill up both of those, and then I'll be able to offer them two water supplies, so one bull can't end up policing and taking over both of them. I hope that makes some sort of sense to you. Let me just walk along and show you from this perspective all of this fencing. Even though they have made a jumbled mess here, I don't think they're going to try to find themselves through there. I hope not. I might can come back and re-tack that back up just to kind of help a little bit. But all of my wire's been loosened, the barbed wire, and they just took these panels. I say they, Tex just took these panels and gave them all a piece of his mind. They just, guys, there's not many people who can say they've seen so much drama and so much personality from a bull as what we've seen with Tex, and he's just something else. This is the last spot over here where he put a horn to it and put a little weight to it. Didn't make much of an impact there. So there's only really one spot that I really worry about, and I'm gonna have to go get me a couple of staples and try to tack that back up the best that I can. But I don't really like that. That's not the bad spot though. The bad spot's right over here. I think that if he comes back over here and finds this spot, he's gonna try to push himself through it. And if he does get through it, then all the work that we did this morning was all for naught. Okay. Now, in case you're curious about what happens to the herd whenever you remove their herd bull, their leader, well, what will happen right now is that one of the cows will step up. I don't want to hurt your feelings when I say this, but to all the folks who love them some Chucky Poo, Chuck will in fact be Uncle Chuck, guys. He is Uncle Chuck. And he will be a wonderful protector of all the calves being born. But unfortunately, Chuck will never be the herd bull. Well, number one, he's not a bull. And number two, he's not really accepted as a Longhorn. So as of right now, all of our Longhorn females, our moms-to-be, along with their calves, and some of our yearlings, have all gone down to the shady area to hang out. And what you'll notice over time is that Chuck will hang out with them, but he will not be the leader. He will not be the one to call them to action, to call them to arms. He will just kind of be one of. He will follow them along. Guys, don't forget we've had friendly bulls before. Let's take Moo, for example. Everyone remembers Moo, who was just in the friend zone. And even when we moved Tex, Moo still had cows with him. Well, even when he was with Jake's, he was not the leader. And so Chuck will never be the leader. If that's what you were thinking, I'm sorry to tell you that. I don't mean to, we're not talking negatively about Chuck. It's just the dynamic. Maybe one of you can find out the reason why. I'm going to show you now that Chuck, more than likely, is not even with these guys. I don't actually see Chuck, but I know for a fact he's not here. So Chuck will, in fact, hang out, and he'll be a part of the family, but he's not going to be their leader. And I can't find Chuck right now to demonstrate and show you what he's doing, but over time, if you give us time, you'll find out and you'll see for yourselves that Chuck will always be a part of this family, but he's not going to be the leader. So one of the females will, I'm going to guess, it's maybe Pearl, maybe Marilyn, are my guesses. But this would be a great time for some of you all to have a shot at who you think may become and step up to be the leader, because you will see one of these stronger and more dominant females become the lead. I am looking for Chuck, and I think I see him. He's over here in his corner. I am going to point in the center of my screen. You're never going to be able to see it because it's going to be blurry, but he is right in the center of your screen. I see little nubby horns right behind that bit of shrubbery right there in the corner. So Chuck is out back with the ladies. If you think about it, his one buddy who has become Tex just got moved, and Chuck's not real sure why. And Chuck may be a little bit, once again, the whole herd has been, disheveled, and things have kind of changed up a little bit. But my hope is that Chuck will end up teaming up with someone, maybe a Jezebel. We know that Jezebel's quite the loner. Maybe he'll find him a Jezebel, maybe a Danny, and he will end up finding him a friend to hang out with more, just like little Gary did. Little Gary and Jezebel became quite inseparable. It was cute to watch them. But all right, well, that's what's going on right now, guys. It's a lot to take in, and but we will see over time how everything evolves with Chuck and what kind of a role he begins to play with all of the Longhorn here. Poor Waylon. He is a little bit unsure about what happened. And I don't, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that most of us have had an eye-opening experience once or twice in our lifetimes. And here Waylon was thinking that he was the man. And today, Tex showed him otherwise. So, it's okay, guys. All part of herd dynamics. We love Waylon, and he'll be fine. Give them a couple of days, and he'll be okay.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.